It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be better. I can't wait. Making my move. Live for the day. Sing like a bird. Fly like a plane. Come spill with me, Jenny D.
Hello, my beautiful people. Thank you for joining me with another episode of Spill With Me, Jenny D podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by St. Clair Health. It's also brought to you by Bare Skin and Laser. I have my guest today. We've been wanting to do a podcast. Well, I've been trying to get a hold of Andrew, but he's so busy. You know?
Yeah.
So Andrew Fee is actually the vice president of partnership. I was going to say it again, partnership for the Special Olympics. I mean, I just give you so much credit for what you do, Andrew, and I cannot wait to get to know you and to get to know what you do and, you know, just about the kids and the adults, the young adults that you do have the Special Olympics for. So introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers.
I'm Andrew Feed, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships, and my journey in Special Olympics goes back about 11 years. So I started volunteering with the organization before coming on staff. My wife and I coach Special Olympics together, still to this day. But we started volunteering, and we were in college athletics before. So we worked in college athletics, we coached. And there was something different about Special Olympics that we loved. Yeah. Everyone always wants to say it's the joy, which is true. It's a joyful experience, but it's also the fierce competition. Our athletes, you know, as you said, all ages, all abilities, going out and competing. And heck, we're from Western PA. We love sport.
We do. We do. We like the Stellars. Now, I don't know if you know all the background about Special Olympics, but do you know, like, when did it start?
Yeah, so it started back in the 1960s, late 1960s. Eunice Kennedy Shriver, part of the Kennedy family, her sister Rosemary had an intellectual disability. So we serve people with intellectual disabilities, developmental disabilities, autism. So she had an intellectual disability. And you can imagine back in the 60s, 70s, people weren't accepted, right? No. They were hidden. They were institutionalized. They were trying to be fixed, right? So there was actually a doctor that tried to operate and fix Rosemary's brain, and obviously that didn't work out. So her sister Eunice decided to start a camp in the backyard for people with intellectual disabilities because she saw a need for programming, socialization, inclusion.
Right.
But we look at that story, and I feel like you can easily just glance over, oh, that was really nice, but she was in the Kennedy family, the most powerful political family there was, taking that risk to include people that have never been included. So it was an incredible risk for her to take. So it's about 50, 60 years ago. Fast forward, the movement now has 5.7 million athletes.
Oh my God.
It's in almost 200 countries worldwide. So when you look at growth, when you look at grassroots movements, it's just so impressive to see. It's amazing to be a part of it.
I can't believe it. I mean, I wasn't sure when it started. Do you know where it started?
Rockville, Maryland. So backyard in Maryland. Yeah.
I feel like it's really big here in Pennsylvania. I feel like our Special Olympics is grown so much. Since you've been doing it for 11 years, what do you think? Has it grown so much or?
Yeah, I think the big piece that has grown is our unified sports. So we have people with and without disabilities playing together on the same team in over 500 schools in Pennsylvania. So can you imagine, again, going back to when this organization started, people didn't play on the same playing field as people with disabilities.
Right.
You know, they were all segregated. So when you look at inclusion and bringing people together, that's the most powerful thing that Special Olympics has done over the last 20 years and then the last 10 years here in Pennsylvania. And I think the media attention, all the different schools partnering with us to provide programming has been really important to our growth and shed a light on what we do. And so definitely become more popular, if you will, over the last 10 to 15 years. People are paying more attention to it. But I would say we have 15,300 athletes across the state.
In Pennsylvania.
Wow. So, that looking back pre-pandemic and years before that, we've always had a large athlete population. So that hasn't changed as much as the unified sport.
Right. Now, how do you qualify to be on these games? Like, do you have to have, like, if you said some of them do not have disabilities, so do you guys have to pick and choose, or is it so many girls, so many boys, or do you just like put them together? I mean, and tell us about the sports that you have for them.
So right now across the globe, there's 30 sports in Special Olympics. Pennsylvania, there's 21 different sports.
Okay.
So ages 8 to 80 is what we say, but obviously we don't tell people to stop playing when they're 80, but we have some adult athletes.
Do you have anybody that's close to, like, in their 60s?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We have a lot of athletes that are getting up near that 80 age.
I love it.
And they're doing sports a lot of times, not all the time. Sports like walking, bowling, bocce, tennis. They start to do those lifestyle sports. They're not playing flag football or, those different competitive contact sports.
Right.
But so ages 8 to 80. And to be a Special Olympics athlete, you have to have an intellectual disability.
Okay.
Or a developmental disability delay. Autism would qualify. And then, of course, we have those unified partners. When we bring people with and without disabilities together, we try to have a 50-50 ratio of, if we're playing golf together and I have disabilities and you don't, we're a unified pair.
Like a buddy system kind of?
No, not a buddy system. So we're equal peers.
Oh, okay.
We're competing together. Our scores count the same.
I love that.
So it's not, it's very different than a buddy system. Obviously we're developing good friendships.
Right.
But we're competing together as a unit or as a team, breaking down barriers. We don't label people. You would never know who has disabilities and who doesn't out on the field. It's just equal peers.
I love that.
Yeah.
So tell us about the different sports that they have in Pennsylvania.
So the most popular, I would say, are basketball, track and field, swimming. So some of your more traditional sports.
Where do they do all these?
Yeah, most are done in community centers, schools, after hours, using pools and schools like Peters Township, North Allegheny locally, Upper St. Clair, those types of places. But a lot of community centers, YMCAs, those types of places are generous to us. But those are the more popular sports. And then we have, in Pittsburgh, we have different sports like rowing, on the river where you couldn't do that in all communities.
Right.
Bowling, bocce is really popular. We're starting to get into pickleball. We do top golf as a way to keep the swings going for golf when we're in the winter months. So just powerlifting is one of the most exciting sports to watch.
Yes.
Just ton of different sports and ton of different opportunities for people to be engaged. Our goal is to have an athlete compete in each season. So winter, spring, summer, fall. We ideally want them to participate in 2 sports, practicing twice a week.
Right.
Because we know when they're out, they're social, they're more physically fit. Unfortunately, our athletes right now are dying about 20 years sooner than someone without disabilities.
Right.
And that's just poor health outcomes due to lack of programming and exercise and socialization. So we know Special Olympics can play a role in that.
I love that. Yeah, it's so true too. And they want to be around like-minded adults, young adults too. Because then, the parents and friends and family can sit there and they can watch and they can realize that, our son or daughter or our aunt or uncle, they're right there. And these are the people they want to be with. Do you see a lot of like friendships and bonds building?
Yeah, I think that's both from the athlete perspective, but also the families that are just coming out and being a part of a group of people that understand the challenges. They all have someone with special needs they're caring for, understand the challenges on a daily basis, in school, out of school, getting a job, public transportation, So we see a lot of friendships with the athletes, the teams, but definitely with the families as well. And I think Special Olympics just like sports in general, it just normalizes everyone, puts them on a equal playing field.
It does.
And, it doesn't matter if you look at, traditional sports program, it doesn't matter what background you come from, how much money you have, you still get to play soccer, football, and go out there.
I love that.
That's what Special Olympics does. It's no different than any other sports organization.
Do you have tryouts for some of these? Like, do you see, okay, well, so-and-so is, boy, we need to really put them in like rowing because they are really strong, like upper body. Or do you like place them in where they should be, or do they try out for a certain kind of sport?
So it's different based on every sport, but yes, we're always recommending like, hey, you're really strong. You should consider powerlifting
Yes.
But yes, it's amazing. I always tell people it's amazing. We actually, sometimes tell our athletes no, and sometimes tell them they can't be on a certain team because they are not at the high enough ability, or maybe they're too high of an ability.
Right.
People are always shocked when, oh my gosh, you tell people no.
Yeah.
Like, this is sports. You win, you lose. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it sucks.
Right. You want them to learn. You're putting them in a situation where they're going to learn from what they're doing.
Yeah. It's training for life. It's not just training for sports.
Training for life. I love that, Andrew.
Yeah. And so we do have tryouts, different levels. The great thing about Special Olympics is we're always trying to build equal ability teams. So we never want any competition to happen where a team just crushes the other team.
Yes.
So when we division based on ability, so let's use bowling as an example, we would take similar averages and they would be competing against each other for a gold medal. So if there's 5 of them, one person would win gold.
Right.
Yes, it's shocking. We don't give gold to everyone.
The whole team.
And the last place would get a 5th place ribbon. We give all the way up to 9th place ribbons.
That's nice.
But, they have an equal or equitable chance to win a gold medal because they're competing against people that are similar ability levels than them. So we might have, if we have a bowling tournament, we might have 50 to 60 different divisions. So that would be the difference between Special Olympics and traditional sports, where you would have one champion. Right. We would have basically division champions.
I like that because you want to have goals. And you know what? It'll give them something to strive for. So maybe they didn't get that gold ribbon. And next time they go out there and they get, I don't know, the silver or whatever, and they look at themselves like, look what I've accomplished.
Well, all of us can look back at our sports journey. I wasn't very good, but eventually it got to a point where you said, I'm just not good at this. I want to stop. And that's what we don't want our athletes to do. We don't want them to stop trying to get better, that 1% better every day, because we see the value of being with other people, socializing, being a part of a team. So we're always trying to give them a good experience.
Right.
That's part of the experience.
Right. The competition, yes, it's great to compete. But like you said, it's the camaraderie of having friends and a community together and just getting to know each other in a kind of an atmosphere where you're not going to have this like every day. You don't see us going and playing, against each other. We could, but I love that they're doing that for Special Olympics in the community for them. Now, give me another example of another sport that they do and they have to try out for.
So my wife and I coach a softball team. So we play slow pitch softball. And our team, that's a really good example of a sport that if you don't have good ability or similar abilities, it can become really dangerous.
Right? Oh, yeah.
A ball flying,
if you're not
third base, someone's not able to react quickly, those types of things. Flag football would be similar, where it could become very dangerous if we don't have good equal ability on the field. So we would have them try out for softball. We have different levels of softball, not to get too into the weeds, but we have a level 1, level 2, level 3 teams, and then you compete against teams at your level. But our level 1 in a lot of sports would be skills. So we acknowledge that some athletes cannot participate as a part of a team, maybe due to their challenges, maybe due to their attention span or their ability to socialize, communicate, all kinds of different aspects. So maybe they just do skills where they see how far they can throw, hit, run, and that's their
They're
competitive
not actually
experience.
doing the game. They're
Yeah.
just doing their skill that they're good at. I do it. Yeah.
And that's their competitive experience. And then the other folks might be on a team that isn't, going to play at a high level, but they're going to play against teams that are the same level as them. And then we have teams in Special Olympics that beat community slow pitch softball teams all the time. We have a team from down south, not in Pennsylvania, a different state. They went 38-1 in a traditional community league.
Oh my gosh.
So we have athletes that are dunking the ball in basketball.
Wow.
We definitely have some basketball teams across the state of Pennsylvania that could easily beat some high school teams in the area.
That's incredible. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people know about all that and, the competing against each other and just, I love that. When you say Olympics, when you were saying before, you're getting ribbons or getting this. So how many times a year do you have like the Olympics?
So we basically have, each season has a championship. So, we have different names for them in Pennsylvania, where our fall festival is our fall championship.
Okay.
But you can just imagine like every season, winter, spring, summer, fall, have championships in different sports. And then every 4 years is the USA Games.
Oh, okay.
So that's basically like the North America Olympics.
Oh, wow.
And then every 4 years is the World Games. So these don't all happen on the same time frame, obviously, and there's a Winter World Games and a Summer World Games. So if you've maybe caught any of these on ESPN, they're all shown on ESPN. We had our USA Games in 2022, in Orlando.
Okay.
We are sending 6 athletes to Italy to compete in the World Winter Games this year.
What?
From Pennsylvania. And then we had 2 athletes last year go to Berlin for the World Summer Games.
Oh my goodness.
Just a variety of opportunities.
Incredible. Oh my God. I'm learning so much just sitting here talking to you, Andrew, and I'm just like, my eyes are lit up because I'm thinking, this is amazing. What a great, I know that was one of the Kennedys that came up with this, but my gosh, thank goodness for this. This is such a great experience, for every athlete that's, knowing that, my skills might not be as good as your skills, just like everybody else, they should be able to do what they enjoy to do. And I just, oh my gosh, I just applaud you. This is just amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's a great movement. So many people are involved, so many volunteers, so many families. So it's not the staff that does it alone.
It takes a village.
Takes a community, takes a country. But when you say Olympics, like the important thing when Eunice Kenny Shriver started the organization is she wanted our sports and competitions to be up to par with Olympic competitions. Yeah. And we try to use the same Olympic ideals that they use, when the Olympics come to LA for our games.
Right.
And our athletes deserve an Olympic style experience, especially from a competitive aspect. And that's what we believe. And that's why we're always pushing. A lot of people are kind of scared sometimes to call fouls or say like, that's illegal, you're out.
Yeah.
But that's what we want. We want our athletes to be held to the same standards of everyone else. That's true inclusion.
Oh, yeah. I don't even think I'd make your softball team, I have to be honest.
No, I don't think you would either.
I did play softball way back when. I can throw the ball. I could barely hit, and I could barely catch.
Yeah, you wouldn't make it.
So I would never. I would never
make
it. I could just, I could be the water girl. I could be the water girl.
You could.
No, tell us about the fundraising, because that's what for you to operate and to do all the things you do, the fundraising is very important for Special Olympics. And I know we got a big one this month of February.
Yeah, so the reason we fundraise is everything we do is free for the athletes. So no matter where they're going, Berlin, Italy, Orlando, Minnesota, Philadelphia, it's free.
Yeah.
Going back to when the organization started, they never wanted finances to be a barrier to participation. And that's one thing we've stuck to. So all this programming for 15,000 people is free across the state. It takes a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
these trips cost a lot of money. I mean, buses, gas, everything is a lot more
They have
expensive than
uniforms too.
uniforms,
Yeah.
equipment. So it's all free of charge to the athletes, and that's why we do fundraisers. The biggest one in the state of Pennsylvania happens to be the Pittsburgh Polar Plunge, which you're...
Oh my God. It was funny because when Kelly Moore came to me and she was like, hey, do you want to do the polar plunge? I'm thinking, I'm not jumping in the river. I am not jumping in that river. And I was like, wait, so I have never been to the polar plunge, which is February 22nd of 2025 this year. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so
when did they start this polar plunge?
You can find all the info at yinsplunge.com.
Yins.
But started a little over 15 years ago, but there's polar plunges that happen all over the country.
Right.
So again, these people like you, like me, like law enforcement, community members are jumping in freezing cold water, doing something brave.
Right.
Our motto is... Our athlete oath, which they say before every practice or competition, is let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
Yes.
And that's kind of the idea of the plunge, is do something brave, do something bold to support Special Olympics.
Absolutely.
Raising money, raising awareness. So last year in Pittsburgh, we had the Polar Plunge. 4,000 people did something brave, raised over $1 million to support Special Olympics for the first time ever in Special Olympics Pennsylvania history. So we're trying to match that.
Wow.
Trying to, every year we're in Pittsburgh. We got to dig deep, go a little bigger. So trying to raise more than $1 million this year. But it's the idea of just doing something cool, checking. We don't want it to be a bucket list item. We want people to come back every year, but just doing something to support Special Olympics.
I'm excited because I've never done this before. And what better way to do it for a wonderful cause of the Special Olympics? So if you're going to be around on February 22nd at Acrisure Stadium, so they're going to have a swimming pool there.
Three swimming pools we set up out there.
Okay.
Pool City is our sponsor, and they come up and set up 3 pools, and they're chlorinated, they're clean.
Okay. What's the temperature?
Well, people always joke about that, but I actually believe it's colder in the pools than it would be in the river, because the river has a little bit of natural warming and movement. It's cold. It's cold.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrew. I mean, he's really good. I thought, well, I'm going to go out in the snow and I'm going to get myself prepared for this.
There's nothing that people, a lot of people do cold plunges nowadays.
Right.
So, I mean, that would definitely prepare you for it.
Well, my son, he's a football player, so he goes in that ice
chest.
Yeah, the ice bath. And I'm like, if he can do that now, he's only in there for a few seconds, but I think we just jump in and then
and get out. Yeah.
And just jump right out. Yeah.
But there's nothing that can prepare you for standing over a swimming pool when it's 35 degrees outside and snowing.
Let's hope we get a heat wave. We might get a heat wave. You never know in Pittsburgh.
You never know.
We do have a really, really cold winter this year so far. But no, I mean, I'm just, I'm excited to help raise money, for Special Olympics and to do this. And, hey, if this goes well, I'll be doing this. I'll have my own team, my own Jenny D team next year.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I think it's not for everyone. We acknowledge that.
Right.
But it's not as bad as people make it out to be. You feel good afterwards. Scientifically, you actually, people say that you feel better. But you feel really good because you were a part of something bigger than yourself. And I think that's the whole Special Olympics movement, right? You're a part of something that is so big across the country, across the world, and it's just bigger than you. And it's representing your country, your state. It's why we all get so excited when the Olympics come on every 4 years, right?
Yes.
And this is what we do every day. So we're blessed.
We are blessed. And you think about the training and everything that goes into all the athletes, and doesn't matter, the Special Olympics or the Olympics that we have. It's just unbelievable to see how much work and time, you put into that, the dedication. Yeah. And then people like you behind the scenes that are really like making a difference and putting all these things together. I mean, Andrew, I give you a lot of credit. This is unbelievable. Like, it really is. Like, it's incredible just to get to know you and to hear about what you do every day. I mean, you are changing lives.
Well, thank you. And it's the whole community. It's the whole volunteer base. It's our families, our schools. So we're all doing a lot of important work in the community. And there's a lot of other nonprofits doing important work in the community. Our athletes
absolutely.
get supported by so many different groups, so many different nonprofits that they would be able to live without.
Right.
We're providing a service that is really important for them socially, physically, emotionally. But they could live without Special Olympics if they had to. A lot of these other groups are providing life-saving services. We believe Special Olympics is life-changing for sure, but there are so many people that are doing great work in the community. We just applaud all of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you guys are all in it together. You support each other, which is so great. And, if somebody wanted to participate in the polar plunge, is there like a cutoff date for them to participate?
No, you can sign up. You can sign up.
You can sign up.
Yeah, you can sign up all the way till the day of. Again, yinsplunge.com has all the info there.
Okay.
But, we're always happy to talk to people about it too. I think it is intimidating when you haven't seen it or done it. Give our office a call. We'd be happy to chat. But the same thing about athletes and wanting to maybe volunteer or become an athlete. We want to have conversations with people, put them in a situation to be successful. We never want them to jump in to Special Olympics and not be successful or have fun the first time around. So, always happy to talk with families and community members.
I love that. So if somebody listening or watching our podcast episode, and they're thinking, you know what, I have a child or I know somebody that has disabilities, how would they reach out to you?
Our website, specialolympicspa.org, contact us, and then you would see everyone's contact information. I always make the joke, I just say call everyone.
Right.
But you can reach out to me directly. I'm always on my phone or happy to take phone calls, reach out to you, and then you can call me.
Absolutely.
But we're always willing to help. So
yeah, and I'll have all the information, in the description after on the podcast. But I just, I feel like that this has been just one of those things where I'm excited. You think about like things in life that you're excited about, and it may not be big to somebody else, but for me to participate in the Special Olympics, be a part of this, celebration and this fundraiser, to me, I just feel so excited.
That's awesome. No, and that's what we want.
I get there and I'm standing there and I'm like, Andrew, I'm going to put on a whole wetsuit.
Yeah. That's what we want, though. We want people to be excited to be a part of Special Olympics. And it's easy to talk about the impact, but once you experience it, meet some of our athletes, hear some stories of the families that have been positively changed, infected by our movement.
Right.
It's hard to say no after that. So we're lucky, we're blessed that we have so many great people involved, and the Pittsburgh community's incredible to us.
I love it. Yes, I love it. My podcast is nationwide. So if you are in another state or country, you can look at Special Olympics and try to find them through there. But this was just like such a great podcast episode. I really appreciate you taking the time to come here and talk to my listeners and viewers about the Special Olympics.
Well, thanks for having us. Thanks for allowing us to highlight what we do and being a part of our movement in a certain way. We're grateful and appreciative.
Thank you. Is there anything else you would like to tell the listeners and viewers?
No, we hope to see everyone at the Polar Plunge.
Yes, it's free to come and watch.
Yeah, free to come on down and just beware, you might get splashed.
And it starts, like at 10 o'clock or?
11 o'clock, yeah. So again, yinsplunge.com or specialolympicspa.org. You can find all of our contact information and reach out, and we'd be happy to talk.
Great. I'm so excited. Make sure to come see me, Jenny D, as I jump into the pool. Thank you so much for being on Spill With Me, Jenny D.
Thank you.
Take care.
Come spill with